All right, good evening. Good evening, and thank you very much for joining me tonight. Welcome to tonight's live stream. The show is called The Mountains Win. I chose that name because of what I went through the last couple of weeks. I went on vacation with my family to the Smoky Mountains, and we had a ton of fun. I'll be telling a couple of brief stories throughout. I see Twigs is here. Thanks very much for joining us tonight, Twigs. It's always great to see you. So I'm going to start. I see Joe Aiken is here as well, watching on a big screen. I like that. I like that a lot. And my sister Kat is here. Thanks very much for joining me tonight. All right, well, I'm going to start off with Wind Song, and then I'll get into some of the stories that I can relay to you from my recent trip. All right, here we go. I see you dancing there, but there's tension in your stare, as if the world is disturbing your peace, as if there's something deep inside you try so hard to hide. It leaves you aching to find your sweet release. Just come with me, and I'll show you a place where the wind flows free. Let the warm air hit your face. There's no disgrace, so breathe it in. And so we begin in the corner of your own little room. It's like roses in bloom. Breathe it in. There's freedom in the basking in the wind. Just take a seat with me. Let it run free. There is no shame. Feel the tension ooze away. I still want you by my side. It makes you feel alive. Feel the fragrance of creation as you stay. It's a love so fine, but now just let it flow from your depths into mine. I let the warm air hit your face. There's no disgrace, breathe it in. And so we began in the corner of your home little room. It's like roses in bloom, breathe it in. There's freedom in the basking in the wind. But once you're satisfied, just return to the dancing to the soundtrack of your life. But so you know, if the tension ever grows, then come back here to find me and let the wind blow. Let the warm air hit your face. There's no disgrace, so breathe it in. And so we began in the corner of your home little room. It's like roses in bloom, breathe it in. There's freedom in the basking in the wind. There's freedom in the basking in the wind. All right, thank you so much. It's always great to be here on stream, and I'm sorry I missed last week's stream as well, but I was not well. I'm feeling that much better today. But my mom said that Janice and Dick are two old friends of ours who live in Colorado, so I'm very happy that they're here. It's always great to see you guys as we're me make sure I get this right before I play this next song. So, as I said before, we went out to the Smoky Mountains for a vacation. We stayed near the town of Pigeon Forge, Tennessee, and we drove out there. We took 3 cars. My sister and her husband, who live up in Buffalo, they took their car. Then my parents took their own car, and then I took my own. What's this now? Oh, I didn't know that. They live in Ohio now. I didn't know that. I knew Dick was from Colorado, but I didn't know that they had moved. That's good. Good for them. All right. So this is a song about, yes, my sister said, long but beautiful drive. Yep, from my house to the place in Tennessee, it was just over 11 hours. I took it over 2 days, and yeah, it was a beautiful ride, and I really enjoyed it a lot. So in that spirit, I decided to sing a song about cars. Specifically one car, specifically an old car. It's by David Wilcox. This is Rusty Old American Dream. Well, I don't look all that ragged from all the time it's been, but I'm weakened underneath me where my frame is rusted thin. And this year's state inspection I just barely passed. Won't you drive me across the country, boy, this year could be my last. And I'm a tail-fin road locomotive from days of cheap gasoline. And I'm for sale by the side of the road, going nowhere. Rusty old American dream. I rolled off the line in Detroit back in 1958. Spent 3 days in the showroom, that's all I had to wait. I've been good to all who own me, so have no fear. Come on, boy, put your money down and get me out of here. I'm a tail-fin road locomotive from the days of cheap gasoline. And I'm for sale by the side of the road, going nowhere. Rusty old American dream. Now this car needs a young man to own him, one who will polish the chrome. I will give you the rest of my lifetime, but don't let me die here alone. Just jump me some juice to my battery, give that old starter a spin. Hear me whir and sputter and backfire through the carburetor and roar into life once again. I am a tail-fin road locomotive. You can polish my chrome so clean. We can fly off into the sunset together. Rusty old American dream, still running. Rusty old American dream. All right, that was Rusty Old American Dream by David Wilcox. And I kind of feel that way about some of the cars that we have in our family. In our house, we have 2 cars that are both over 10 years old. One is a Honda, the other is a Subaru. I drive the Subaru, my mother drives the Honda. But they're both workhorses and love them a lot. I see my friend Brian Theoret is here. Hello. Thanks very much for joining me, man. I'm going to do another David Wilcox song for you now. This one is called Top of the Roller Coaster. And I'm singing this one because one of the things that I did out on that vacation was I went to Dollywood, which is right in Pigeon Forge. And that park is known for two things. One is all the Dolly Parton theming, and the other is it's a big roller coaster park. I've heard some people say they have some of the best roller coasters in the United States and perhaps even the world. And I went on them. I went on all but two of them because they were closed. But that's right. That's right. Mom mentioned the cinnamon bread. They're known. There's a place out there called Grist Mill where they make cinnamon bread. It's like one of those things that are worth waiting 2 hours in line for. Yes, incredible cinnamon bread. It was really good. But I went for the roller coasters. I had not been on a roller coaster since 2013 before that day, and I went on again. I know roller coasters are not for everyone. I mean, obviously. But I really enjoy them, and I haven't been on one in a really long time, and I managed to go on all the ones that were open during that trip. It wasn't very crowded that day, so it was pretty easy. There were no lines any longer than like 20 minutes or so. But anyway, I'll play this next song for you. This is another David Wilcox tune. This is Top of the Roller Coaster. Say goodbye to your 20s. Tomorrow is the big 3-0. For my birthday present, I've got a place where we can go. It's a lesson in motion to ride the wildest ride. We're gonna climb the top of the roller coaster, look down the other side. So let me ride in the front car, and you ride right behind. And I'll click my snapshot camera at exactly the right time. Shoot back over my shoulder, catch the fear no one can hide. When we tip the top of the roller coaster, look down the other side, over the hill. So when the prints come back, we can look at that unmistakable birthday fear. Like your younger days are over now, and it's all downhill from here. It was a happy birthday, you surprised us all. So take a look at this glossy picture. I framed it for your wall. It's the moment of truth. It's the top of your youth. The camera don't lie. You might be screaming, but there's a meaning in the laughter in your eyes. It seems to be saying, of course there will be fear. But this is why we stand in line. Spend that time, make that climb to finally feel the other side. And it's all downhill from here. We're gonna climb the top of the roller coaster, look down the other side. Thanks again. And I realized something while I was playing that song. I played that song the day before my 30th birthday here on stream. And the song is about aging and realizing that, realizing you're getting older and And I guess at the time, David Wilcox thought that 30 was going to be over the hill, but that's not always the case. And also, the idea of the top of the roller coaster being the peak, and then the drop, going downhill like that. And I mentioned this on my 30th birthday stream. The talk about the top of the roller coaster in that song, but it's a lot more than just that climb and the drop. It's a lot more to it, and a lot more to the ride. There's a lot of twists and turns, there's flips, there's big hills that will send you flying out of your seat. There are some valleys that will really push you into your seat. And, the part that's the top, that's the beginning of the fun part of the coaster. Sure, you get the better view, but the drop downwards, that's where the fun starts. And so I hope that's inspiring to somebody in there. All right. I can't sleep tonight. There's 1,000 fireflies. Tomorrow fears it might. Glowing yellow stain my eyes. It occurs to me, more so than I wish to say, the pain of which I sing, built up longer than today. There is still an ember, a flicker of a flame that made it through the worst falls, the desert storm and rain. Tomorrow I will try again, but tonight here I lay. I work through the day. In the moment I ignore, I collect my pay, but I won't return for more. With my inner strife on this filter system too, I can't live my life at a wall I can't break through. There is still an ember, a flicker of a flame that made it through the worst falls, the desert storm and rain. Tomorrow I will try again, but tonight here I lay. When the moon is new, or the cover clouds might stay, that's when I must escape. There's only so much I can take. There is still an ember, a flicker of a flame, made it through the worst falls, the desert storm and rain. Tomorrow I will try again, but tonight here I lay. But I can't move tonight. All right, thanks very much. That was Ember. I'm going to go into another original song for you now. Moving right along. This is Build This City. And Patterson on the bread box line, he lost his home on his own dime. She rules the bright light serenade with a child at her promenade. In the tightest jeans, a husband sick in bed asleep. From the ashes of pain and pity, come together, let's build this city. Innocence with charcoal skin, his brother shot by a blue man's tin. A mother trapped in a textile mill risked her hand for her mouths to fill. Concrete towers proud and tall, how many iron workers fall. From the ashes of pain and pity, come together, let's build this city. We used to be a solemn land, planted firmly in the sand, but sharps recall our conscience hid. We wake up to see just what they did. They ripped apart the prophet's tongue, and the murderer is free to run. The gambler hits a sloping stride, climbing up to the money's high. The working man has a beggar's kiss. God knows we are better than this. So from the ashes of pain and pity, come together, let's build this city. 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 All right, thank you so much. That was Build This City. I'm going to switch guitars over and pull in for another cover song that has to do with the trip. So we went to the Smoky Mountains in the middle of October. And one of the pluses of being down there at that point in time is not only that the crowds are small, but it's peak foliage season down there. And I got to take a lot of pictures. I wish I had planned ahead to put some of them on here so that you can see some of them. But it's an absolutely beautiful place in the fall. And the trees have... There's so many species of trees that live out in the Smoky Mountains and are protected in that area. You get such a wide array of colors. I have this one picture. I literally like zoomed into it, and it's now the lock picture, the background picture on my iPad, which I absolutely love to look at. So I'm going to sing a song called Colors. It has loosely to do with that, but the colors out there are absolutely amazing during peak foliage time. Yellow is the color of my true love's hair in the morning when we rise. In the morning when we rise, that's the time I love the best. Blue is the color of the sky in the morning when we rise. In the morning when we rise, that's the time I love the best. Green is the color of the sparkling corn in the morning when we rise. In the morning when we rise, that's the time I love the best. Mellow is the feeling that I get when I see her. When I see her, that's the time I love the best. Freedom is a word I rarely use without thinking. Without thinking of the time when I've been loved. All right, so that was Colors, and I'm dedicating that song in part to the beautiful Smoky Mountains, what you see out there in the fall. It's a really, really beautiful place, and I highly recommend, if you've never been there, then I highly recommend going sometime. This next song is Long Way by Anja Duvakot. It's a traveling song. It's one of my favorite songs that she does. I was actually the last person to arrive at the to arrive at the cabin that we stayed in. By several days, I had stayed behind for a little while to focus on not just work, but taking care of my mental health, because I was in kind of a bad spot before leaving. But as soon as I hit the road, as soon as I pulled out of the driveway and hit and eventually went onto the highway, any kind of bad feelings that I had about this trip just completely disappeared. And that's why I like being on the road so much, because it really is that kind of incredibly beautiful feeling where all you can focus on is the road ahead. You don't have to look back. And I love that. I love that a lot, and I'm glad I took the trip down alone, because you get a lot more time to yourself, to myself, to really visualize and see the world around you. By the time we left, it was peak foliage season in southern Pennsylvania, and driving down Interstate 81, it was such an incredible view to see, with the mountains and everything. 81 pretty much goes all the way down the Appalachians to the Smoky Mountains and probably further beyond, I'm not sure. And it's a beautiful place, though. And this song is about some of the beautiful places you get to see while traveling across the interstate highway system in the United States. So this is Long Way. Bid our friends goodbye and promised we would write them, and headed north up 95 into the great unknown. We turned up our stereo. I felt so reckless and alive. We didn't know who we would be. We didn't know where we would end up when we headed down that road. Little food and our guitars in the backseat, and that old cello, the one that would get stolen in a town in Idaho. And it's a long way to Michigan and back, and it's a long way. Yes, it's a long way, the clouds upon our backs, and it's a long, 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 long way. And I have never seen reflections of the cleanest of blue as in Minnesota lakes. Those were the longest nights of wood smoke and northern lights as we talked until the morning came. The line of glowing embers, as sweet as I remember, among the rustling of the trees. Legend of the harvest moon and sweet ballad of the loon, I felt as ancient as I was meant to be. And it's a long way to Tennessee and back, and it's a long way. Yes, it's a long way, the clouds upon our backs, and it's a long, 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 long way. Called you from a payphone in windy, cold Missoula, and then from it land in the rain. No place as proud and sad as the South Dakota Badlands. It touched me more than I could explain. A dirt poor reservation where the Oglala Nation tries to hang on to its ways. A feather and peyote pipe, a six-pack of Miller Lite sits on the dashboard of a beat-up Chevrolet, and it's a long way to Washington and back, and it's a long way. Yes, it's a long way on the worn-out hills of Kerouac. It's a long, 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 long way. Out in California, we touched the other ocean, and I still have that jar of sand. The Arizona desert, the sky goes on forever. You've never seen a thing as grand. North Montana was cold. She keeps her secrets frozen under glaciers way up north. People have got lost up there in the home of the grizzly bear. You can ask the mountain, but the mountain doesn't care. And it's a long way to Delaware and back, and it's a long way. Yes, it's a long way, the clouds upon our backs, and it's a long, 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 long way. Yes, it's a long way on the worn-out hills of Kerouac. It's a long, 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 long way. All right, thanks again. That was Long Way by Anji Dubicat. I see there's a lot of comments about Anji in the chat. Anji really is great. She's a great performer too. My dad and I got to see her live in January of 2020, right before lockdown, and she was opening up for Dar Williams in I forget the name of the town. It's in Westchester. But a beautiful theater out there, and she put on a great performance. So did Dar as well. But we actually went there to see Anji because I knew her through the New England Songwriters Retreat, as does Brian Theoret. And we were both, we said hello and got into wondering what's going to come next for the Songwriters Retreat and stuff like that. All right, well, this next song is John Denver tune. I limited myself to one John Denver tune, which is hard to do when you're doing a show themed to mountains. But I chose this one. This one goes back to Dollywood again. Not only is Dollywood, basically a giant Dolly Parton museum and a roller coaster park, it's also an eagle sanctuary. It's and I actually found this out when we were out there, and we saw an exposition there of a bunch of bald eagles, particularly bald eagles that were not able to be released for one reason or another, and into the wild, but. It's the largest collection of these eagles in the entire world, and it's a beautiful place. I did get to see a few of them. It's a big open space and where they can fly around and stuff. But I did get to see a few of them. There was like an eagle show in like this little tiny theater right next to there. It's a very beautiful spot to do. They even have a roller coaster themed to the Eagle Sanctuary out there. It's called Wild Eagle, and that was the best ride in the park, I think, that I got to go on. The one that was closed, the roller coaster that was closed had a better reputation as the best ride in the park, but unfortunately I couldn't go on that one. And yes, Twigs, it is in fact Eagles and Horses that I'm going to be playing for you. All right, so here's that song for you. Horses are creatures who worship the earth. They gallop on feet of ivory, constrained by the wonder of dying and birth. The horses still run, they are free. My body is merely the shell of my soul, but the flesh must be given its due. Like a pony that carries its rider back home, like an old friend who's tried and been true. I had a vision of eagles and horses high on a ridge in a race with the wind, going higher and higher, faster and faster. On eagles and horses, I'm flying again. Eagles inhabit the heavenly heights. They know neither limits nor bounds. They're the guardian angels of darkness and light. They see all and hear every sound. My spirit will never be broken or caught, for the soul is a free-flying thing, like an eagle that needs neither comfort nor thoughts, to rise up on glorious wings. I had a vision of eagles and horses high on a ridge in a race with the wind, going higher and higher, faster and faster. On eagles and horses, I'm flying again, flying again, I'm flying again. My body is merely the shell of my soul, but the flesh must be given its due. Like a pony that carries its master back home, like an old friend who's tried and been true. My spirit will never be broken or caused, for the soul is a free-flying thing, like an eagle that needs neither comfort nor thought, to rise up on glorious wings. I had a vision of eagles and horses high on a ridge in a race with the wind, going higher and higher, faster and faster. On eagles and horses, I'm flying again, I'm flying again, I'm flying again. All right, thanks again. That was Eagles and Horses by John Denver. I'm going to keep on moving now. Towards a couple of original songs. What did Brian Theoret say? Gotta go. So glad to be part of your show. Looking forward to a time where we can get together again to play guitar. Absolutely, Brian. Thank you so much for tuning in. It was really good to see you here. Okay, I'll let you go, man. See you later. Okay, I'll do a couple of original songs for you now. This first one is called I Saw My Child. Yes, Twigs, they were bald eagles. I saw my child in a clearing in the rain, so clear and yet so dark. Despite the storm that creeps from the distance, he sings like a meadowlark. The eagle soars, the thunder roars. I saw my child as innocence blinds him. Lightning takes its mark. I saw my child as he willingly fell in the arms of a docile beast. A gentle smile betrays the hunger, and sharpened swords on his teeth. Generations poor have let this monster roar. I saw my child as it woke from its slumber. Into his flesh it sinks. I saw my child as he raised his hand, asking for peace and for love. The guard, he laughs and orders his men to stone, to shame and to shove. Broken and resigned, he gets back in line. I see my child as he dies to a shell, and I weep from heaven above. I see my child as he dies to a shell, and I weep from heaven above. All right, thanks again. That was I Saw My Child. I changed a few lyrics, I tweaked a few lyrics in that song during a writing session right before taking the trip out there. So that's why a couple of things were different. I did that for a lot of tunes. Usually it's just like one word or two. And I did the same for this next song. This is called Orlando. The songs are just about ready and completed, and ready to hit the studio, ready to really hit the studio. All right, so here's Orlando. My name is Orlando, I'm living on death row. This place is a steady flow of rain. If you can see me through, I'm writing this for you, so that I will not just die in vain. I once was a dealer, turned into a killer, and there sits a lot of us in here. They threw us away when our guilt was proven, and now we await our fates with fear. Can anybody hear me? Is anybody listening? Will I be gone once this goes out? Will God ever forgive me? He'll kill me for the things I've done, despite my sorrow, prayers and shouts. A sliver of sunlight will shine like a spotlight when we stand together in our place. We're praising our children, we mourn our ambitions as we paint the smiles upon our face. And God is a presence, I feel in my senses whenever the silence rears its head. I ask for forgiveness from all I have wronged, as I fear that He'll simply strike me dead. Can anybody hear me? Is anybody listening? Will I be gone once this goes out? Will God ever forgive me? Kill me for the things I've done, despite my sorrow, prayers and shouts. For 20 years they did suspend, but now they're primed to kill again. They stand and scoff at my despair. I will cry, mercy please, I'll beg until I'm on my knees, but they won't listen, they won't care. Can anybody hear me? Is anybody listening? Will I be gone once this goes out? Will God ever forgive me? Kill me for the things I've done, despite my sorrow, prayers and shouts. My name is Orlando, I'm living on death row. This place is a steady flow of rain. If you can see me through, I'm writing this for you, so that I will not just die in vain. All right, thanks very much. That was Orlando. I'm going to do 2 more songs for you, then I'm going to call it a night. It is after 8 now, and I did start a little late, so I apologize for that. But we'll keep the music going here. But really, the vacation spot that I took out at the Smoky Mountains is an incredibly beautiful place, and I highly recommend if you're into If you're into nature vacations, you like visiting the national parks, the Smoky Mountains Great Smoky Mountains National Park is definitely one of the better ones that we've been through. My dad and my sister really like visiting all the national parks, and we've been to quite a few in the past. And we thoroughly enjoyed our time out there. We stayed in a very nice cabin. We did a lot of nature-related things out there. So I'll close out with a nice nature-related song. This is "Gentle Arms of Eden" by Dave Carter and Tracy Grammer. On a sleepy, endless ocean, when the world lay in a dream, there was rhythm in the splash and roll, but not a voice to sing. So the moon shone on the breakers, and the morning warmed the waves, till a single cell that jump and hum for joy, as though to say, "This is my home, this is my only home. This is the only sacred ground I have ever known. Should I stray in the dark night alone, rock me, goddess, in the gentle arms of Eden." Then the day shone bright and rounder, till the one turned into two, and the two into 10,000 things, and old things into new. And on some virgin beachhead, one lonesome critter crawled, and he looked about and shouted out in his most astonished drawl, "This is my home, this is my only home. This is the only sacred ground I have ever known. Should I stray in the dark night alone, rock me, goddess, in the gentle arms of Eden." Then all the sky was buzzing, and the crowd was carpet green, and the weary children of the wood went dancing in between. And the people sang rejoicing when the field was glad with grain, this song of celebration from their cities on the plain. This is my home, this is my only home. This is the only sacred ground I have ever known. Should I stray in the dark night alone, rock me, goddess, in the gentle arms of Eden. Now there's smoke across the harbor, and there's factories on the shore, and the world is ill with greed and will and enterprise of war. But I will lay my burden in the cradle of your grace, in the shining beaches of your love, and the sea of your embrace. This is my home, this is my only home. This is the only sacred ground I have ever known. Should I stray in the dark night alone, rock me, goddess, in the gentle arms of Eden. Rock me, goddess, in the gentle arms of Eden. Well, thanks again very much for joining me tonight. I hope you enjoyed the show. I certainly enjoyed playing it. Once again, in case you're new here, thanks very much for tuning in. My name is Kyle Hancherek. I'm coming to you from Warwick, New York. I'm glad you could join me for tonight's show. If you enjoyed this live stream, please feel free to help me out by leaving a like and sharing it with your friends, either on Facebook, Twitter, whatever social media platform you prefer. You can also join my mailing list. I will have a newsletter coming out at the end of this week, kylehancherek.com/mailing-list. And that's so that you can keep up to date with what I'm doing, what my upcoming shows are. That is the easiest way to stay in touch with me. If you want to support the show financially in any way you can, there are several options for that. One is you can become a patron at patreon.com/Kyle Hancherek. It's a monthly subscription service. I use it to update my patrons on things that are going on a more consistent, more easy basis. So if you're interested in that, please feel free to go over there. It starts at just $1 a month and goes up to $20. Feel free to give as much as you please. There's also you can also leave a tip, one-time tip on PayPal, paypal.me/Kyle Hancherek, or at Venmo at Kyle Hancherek. So I hope you were able to do so. If you're not, don't worry. It's not a requirement to be here. But nonetheless, thanks very, very much for tuning in. I'm glad you enjoyed the show. I'm going to close out tonight with How You Say Goodbye. We will be back again live streaming next week. That's going to be an Ask the Audience stream. I'm not sure what the question is going to be yet, but I will work on that and make sure that it gets out to you as soon as I can. Well, here's How You Say Goodbye. Thank you so much for tuning in. I'm glad you could be here tonight, and I hope to see you next week. Bases are loaded. I bow down to the floor. A single shot on this green plot is all I'm asking for. September is faded. No room for wanting more. My sad goodbye that's spoken through this stadium ensures. The temple is floating. The cheers sound much too good. Backyard sales of tallest tales is far too understood. I'm taking my chances with a slightly crooked grin and a fire in my eyes in a timely telling sin. If the pitch comes in over the plate, just the right speed and perfectly straight, the swing of the bat and it cracks and the crowd goes wild. It's a long line drive to dead center field. It's over the wall and the legacy's sealed. That, my friends, is how you say goodbye. So many moments, but none to save the day. I never had that chance, but that's the price I had to pay. But now I am grounded. Fans ignite the flame, and the lightning says straight road ahead to glory and to fame. When the pitch comes in over the plate, just the right speed and perfectly straight, the swing of the bat and it cracks and the crowd goes wild. It's a long line drive to dead center field. It's over the wall and the legacy seal. That, my friends, is how you say goodbye. Oh, this face looks better than a morning glory bloom, but I've struck out way more times. You can fit in this old room, but as I turn to leave, I'll find a strength I'll never tell. So I'm climbing up the down escalator for one last kiss farewell. And the pitch comes in over the plate, just the right speed and perfectly straight. Swing of the bat and it cracks and the crowd goes wild. It's a long line drive to dead center field. It's over the wall and the legacy seal. That, my friends, is how you say goodbye. Oh, and that, my friends, is how I say goodbye. All right, thank you so much for joining me tonight. It's been a real pleasure being with you guys, and really, really appreciate you being here. I can't wait to be back again next week. Once again, I'll have a newsletter coming out on Friday, so if you're interested in that, please join my mailing list on my website. And I'll be back next week, same time, same place. In fact, let me get the thing here. There we go. Just a little reminder for you. Next Tuesday, 7 p.m., same time, same place. We'll be doing an Ask the Audience stream. Again, don't know what the question is, but I'll get it out pretty soon. Nonetheless, thanks very much for joining me tonight. Greatly appreciate all of you being here. Big thank you to those of you who tuned in the chat. My sister Kat, thanks very much. Thanks to Twigs. Thanks to Joe and Laura. Thanks again to Brian Theoret, even though he's gone now. Always great being able to see all of you. Real great pleasure playing tonight. So I hope to see you next week. And until then, I'm going to tune out. Thank you very much for tuning in. Peace and love, you guys. I'll take care, and I'll see you all soon.